Hey guys, we're back. It is 8:12. Joining the table here is Dylan, and we know that Savannah has been missed the past couple of days, and some people have been wondering, does she have a cold? Does she have the flu? No. She's actually resting from an eye injury. We have NBC News medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar, who's with us, but I've been wanting to talk to Savannah. Here she is on the phone. So first of all, girl, how you doing? How you feeling?
Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm good. I miss y'all.
I miss you.
Yeah, I just, I got hit by, Charley threw a toy train right at my eye, and it tore my retina.
A big train.
Yes, and it happened last week, actually, and then I lost my vision in my right eye about 24 hours later, and then it turned out to be kind of serious. They were afraid my retina would detach, and so they told me to just take it easy, and they've been doing a bunch of, laser procedures, trying to avoid having to do the full surgery. Oh, I see you're showing the little culprit there. That was the train. And it has a real pointy edge, so he threw it right at me, and that was what happened.
Well, walk us through, because I was wondering about what the lasers are actually doing. So you had to go for a laser in the morning and a laser at night. Describe what was going on there.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful to the doctors. They've been so careful with me. I saw the ophthalmologist on Saturday because I really did lose my vision in my right eye. And in fact, on Monday when I came to work, but I couldn't see in one of my eyes, actually. That's why I was wearing those glasses. But but it was so blurry from, not to get too gross, but there was so much blood inside the eye that it completely blocked my vision. It's like putting a Vaseline on a lens, just couldn't see anything. So they couldn't see. They couldn't tell what the nature of the injury it was. But over time, they've been able to look at it, and they're essentially trying to weld back this tear in the retina very carefully, and really trying so hard to avoid the retina detaching and avoid having to do a major surgery. And actually on Monday, they kind of rushed me in for this emergency procedure that I wasn't expecting. And at first they didn't think it had worked, and it looked like I was going to have this surgery, but now it's looking more hopeful. Okay. And I'm actually still hoping I can do the parade tomorrow. I'm not supposed to jump up and down or anything, because it's kind of literally hanging by a thread. But I'm very positive, because I think it's going to be okay.
Wow. Dr. Natalie, walk us. We just put that picture up there.
Let's put that graphic up again. I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. So the retina is this thin, nerve layer in the very, very back of the eye, and what you see, that big gel-like substance in the middle there, is called the vitreous. And what happened was, from the trauma, she had a tear in the retina. That allowed, first of all, that caused bleeding in that vitreous cavity. She had a vitreous hemorrhage, and that's why she can't see right now. But what happens when you have a tear is that gel fluid can seep into through that tear in the retina, and the more fluid that builds up there, that can lead to an actual retinal detachment, which is important, because the retina is where the light beam goes to, and an electrical impulse is generated there that goes to the optic nerve, that goes to the brain, and that's how we see. So right now, her vision loss is really apparently just from this vitreous hemorrhage, not hopefully from any detachment. They don't think there's a detachment there, so hopefully that blood will resorb, and she will regain, full vision. That's the hope. The prognosis is good usually if there's no detachment. And once she has, if she needs the surgical repair, then, that's
how common are retinal tears?
So what retinal tear versus, so they increase with age. They're not terribly common. I think 1 in 300 people in their lifetime around that would experience a retinal detachment. There are some risk factors, but you don't need to have any risk factors technically to have it. Trauma, as in this case, is definitely one of them. Advancing age is another.
Okay, we're not going to talk about advancing age. Savannah. Don't worry about
advancing age too.
Savannah, how's Charley? We want to know how Charley is.
He's he's 2, so he doesn't even know what he did. And of course, I wouldn't want to make him feel bad about it. But it's funny, because he hears me talking about it. He has no idea, but I was FaceTiming with my mom to tell her, and he came running in, and he said, I did it. I did it. He was very proud of himself.
There you go. here's the thing. Here's what's not lost on me. That's a big trade.
Yeah.
Charlie's a little boy. He's a lot stronger than the average 2-year-old.
He's got a good arm. He's a bruiser. Well, he'll be 3 in a couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, actually, that picture might make it look even bigger. But the main thing is it's real pointy, and he was basically sitting on my lap. And 2-year-olds want to test the boundaries, and he just threw it right in my eye.
But the weird thing was you couldn't even tell looking at you on Monday that there
nothing.
Yeah, you couldn't tell. Now my eye actually is kind of swollen and looks kind of messy because of all the laser. So it's been it's like kind of tough on the eye, but like I said, my doctors have been so careful, and they're really, really trying to avoid that retinal detachment and avoid that big surgery, which is quite an ordeal. So I'm very hopeful that if I just hang out here and take it easy, they're like, don't exercise, which was not a problem because I haven't exercised soon anyway.
Well, Savannah, you sound like your spirits are up, and your positivity, I think, will help you get get through this.
We love you, honey. Hurry up and get well.
You guys, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hope to see you tomorrow.
Happy birthday to Libby. Okay, bye.
That's right. It is Libby's birthday. Our executive.
Yes, it is. All right, Savannah, thanks.
Bye.
We love you. All right, Dr. Azar, we love you too. Thanks for coming to see us.